Darla in the lead. After 2 laps, Darla leads Strapara and Sidor by over a minute, with Alexander in 4th, the third Volvo Cannondale rider Epifanova in 5th, and Dunlap in 6th. But all 3 Volvo Cannondale riders begin to suffer braking problems. Strapara and Sidor have to manhandle their bikes down the slopes. Caroline Alexander begins to close in. We rejoin the race on the 3rd and final lap as the temperature continues to drop. And on the topmost part of the course now, Gunrita Darla looking like she will be getting her first win of 1999, barring any mechanical problems. I hope she doesn't get any of those. It looks like some of the spectators still on the shoot as we look at Alison Sidor and Strapara now walking very, very carefully down here. This must be because of their braking problems. My word, just look at the leverage on Alison Sidor's brake levers there. Right back to the handlebar grips. That's going to put them back a long, long way. And I'm sure Caroline Alexander is very, very close indeed now. She's been making time up on the ascents, and she will be making up time on the descents, I am sure. Despite treading very, very carefully there. It won't help the Volvo Cannondale riders in front of them not having any brakes, I am sure. And it looks like Caroline Alexander has now moved into 2nd spot ahead of Annabella Straparo. I know that for a fact because Gunrita Darla has just gone through. And I think I can see Annabella Straparo coming down now. That is the tiny Italian rider, and she's looking back behind her for Alison Sidor. It looks like she's actually waiting for her. This is what is called good teamwork from the Volvo Cannondale riders. We've seen it in the men's racing, now we're seeing it in the women's. And it looks like Caroline Alexander has done what she set out to do, and that's get as far up the table as she can. She's now ahead of Straparo and Sidor. I don't think she'll be able to catch Darla. Alison Sidor, my word, just look at this. I've never seen this before in a mountain bike race. Straparo using all of her cyclocross experience to try and actually stop the bike from running out of control. My word, I think they're going to have to change their disc pads on those bikes. But it looks like Gunrita Darla, the Norwegian DBS rider, the #2 rider in the World Cup at the moment, is going to come across the line for her first win of 1999. She will be very happy about that. In these truly awful conditions, never seen anything like this before. Only 2 degrees in temperature. And these riders will have to be very careful when they cross the finish line. They will have to wrap up as the Norwegian celebrates. This is a good win for Darla. I think she's been owed one, and she's going to take it here in Canmore at the Nordic Skiing Centre. Looks down at her bike, celebrates that win, the first one of 1999. A very, very happy Norwegian rider being congratulated there by one of the team helpers as we see Caroline Alexander, the Briton, coming across the line for her best ride of 1999. She's back to her superb form that we know that she can show. And Sidor creeping across the line, the Canadian looking totally exhausted. And that's her manager, Charlie Livermore, there, helping her off of the bike. What a ride. So gritty. In one of the toughest women's races ever held, Darla takes a dominant victory ahead of Alexander. The Volvo Cannondale trio of Sidor, Straparo and Epifanova complete the podium despite their braking problems, and Dunlap rediscovers some form of her own.
It was kind of awful, but you had to keep telling yourself that it's the same for everyone. So, but you didn't have any feeling in your fingers or your legs, and if you got out of the pedal, it was hard to find the pedal again because you had no feeling. And it was also hard to brake and shift, but I suppose it was the same for everyone.
The freezing temperatures suit Darla, but few others. 12 riders are treated for hypothermia. Fortunately, all recover. In the standings, Sidor's lead is cut to 100 points. To snatch the title, Darla has to win the final round in Houffalize, Belgium, and hope that Sidor places 5th or lower. Because of the conditions, the women's podium takes place the following day. And unfortunately for Straparo, it also coincides with her 31st birthday.
Fisherman's Friend.
Dramatic images of A.Sydor doubled up in pain at the finish of the women's race encapsulated the strength and determination of the hardest working female rider on the circuit. The two-time World Cup winner still made it onto the podium in a situation where many other riders would have either pulled out or not even started. With 16 World Cup wins, the Calgary local can take benefit from her decade of racing.
With my experience, it allows me to have been in a number of different types of situations and learn how to react to each of those situations as they creep up in a race. But you know, you've got to make decisions really fast in a race, and you're putting out so much energy physically that mentally you don't have that time or that luxury or opportunity to think too much. So that's where experience comes into play.
Alliston has been winning World Cup races since they began in 1991. A former road racer, she switched over full-time to mountain biking in 1994. But mountain bike racing can't be that easy after so many years in the saddle. Does she still get the same buzz as she did 10 years ago?
To me, I value a rider who comes out every week and puts it on the line, gives your best effort every week. And I can accept some weeks I'm maybe strongest, some weeks I'm not, but I'm always out there giving 100% effort and giving it my best. And that's just the way the way I approach the sport and the way I ride races.
As a World Cup and World Championship winner, there is only one international title to elude her.
One top trophy, obviously, that I haven't been able to accomplish, to win the gold medal at the Olympics. So that's I'm at this stage in my career where I know it's possible, and I know it's going to be difficult, but that's a big goal still left on the horizon.
Top 10 for the first time in over 3 years means that Evans is a clear favourite to retain his World Cup crown. With Sousa now level on points with the Frenchman, the 1997 champ desperately needs a win.
The heat and altitude of Big Bear were an advantage for Cadel, but the conditions today favour me. But if you've got good legs, you can ride anywhere. We'll find out during the race.
And the start of the men's race here in Canmore, 1999. The men doing 4 laps as opposed to the 3 that the women did. And in fact, last year in 1998, they did 5. Of course, the reason they're only doing 4 this year, the conditions. Slightly warmer and less wet than it was for the women yesterday. And the temperature slightly warmer as well, about 4 degrees. And the men being led out by Philip Meerhager, the Mountain Dew Specialised rider. Won a round of the World Cup at St. Wendel in Germany earlier this year. But 95 starters here. As I said, the men doing 4 laps. Total distance of 32 kilometres, 20 miles. The top loop, 5 kilometres, the bottom loop, 3. And already, Thomas Frischknecht, the master of the mud, got a gap on the rest of the riders. He really is so good in conditions like this. He won last year in Budapest when conditions weren't quite as cold, but were equally as muddy. And looking good on his Ritchie bike with Cadel Evans going through, I think in second spot. Christoph Sousa, his teammate, in third. And I think that was Thomas Hochstrasser, the Scot rider, in fourth, being chased down by Miguel Martinez, leading a whole host of riders, either pushing or riding their bikes. Even this early in the race, on lap 1. And Frischknecht already gone through. We're on neck to noodles, the very top of the course, with Cadel Evans chasing hard. Already with 1 World Cup win this season. That was in Spain in round 3 when he was so dominant. This man Frischknecht had a bad time there, but he's looking good at the moment. And as I say that, falls off of his bike, my word. But look, just as quickly back on there, showing the style of a world champion, a cyclocross two-time world champion, as Sousa chases now. I think he's overtaken Cadel Evans. He has indeed. Cadel Evans now in third spot down the chute and showing superb form, as is Miguel Martinez. Superb technique from the Frenchman there. But as I was saying, Thomas Frischknecht, a two-time cyclocross world champion, showing out there. He does enjoy riding his mountain bike. He's been riding now since 1990. And coming into the bottom part of the course, it looks like Cadel Evans is in third spot. His teammate Sousa's already gone through in second, with Martinez in fourth. As we go back to the main bunch on the chute, and they really are bunching up here. That was Peter Wedge, the Mapai Kona rider, clearly having problems with the riders in front of him. All sorts of problems for these riders coming down the chute. And I think that's Dario Accaroli, the Bianchi Martini rider, taking that far, far, far too fast. Unlucky for Dario. He really does swing between good performances and not very good performances as we go back to Frischknecht, showing the form that has made him a two-time cyclocross world champion. Taking the Devonian drop so well. So smooth down here, as is Christoph Sousa, the winner from Big Bear. Conditions so different from Big Bear, dry and dusty there. As Sousa going through in second spot, with another former cyclocross world champion, Miguel Martinez, in third. And, well, I never, Cadel Evans on Martinez's tail in fourth. And back on the oven, Thomas Frischknecht. This is the style of a two-time world champion at cyclocross. That's how they do it. Watch some of the other riders. They'll be pushing their bikes. Shows their lack of cyclocross experience. So much easier to get that bike on your shoulder. This is a man who has done world at Cyclocross Worlds. Jerome Ciotti, a former mountain bike world champion as well, being chased by Roel Paulison. Yet again, a huge crowd on the chute to see Thomas Frischknecht taking it for the second time. And what style! Electing to run, and run very fast indeed. The Ritchie rider really is on song here. You can hardly even see who it is. That is Frischknecht, believe it or not. The number 11 rider in the World Cup. Before today's race, and I'm sure if he keeps this up, he will go higher up in the World Cup standings as we see Martinez and Cadel Evans together. It looks like they've caught hold of Christoph Sousa. They have indeed, on the Devonian drop. At the end of lap 2, Jerome Ciotti has joined Sousa, Evans and Martinez in a chasing group almost 90 seconds behind the rampant Frischknecht. Roel Paulison is having the best ride of his season in 6th. We rejoin the race on the 3rd lap. And that group of 4 chasing very hard now. This man, Thomas Frischknecht, he really has got the bits between the teeth at the top of the oven. Taking that so well. It must be very hard for him to stay out for such a long time. So difficult to know what sort of pace to make. With a group of 4 chasing. In fact, that group of 4 has now been whittled down to a group of 1. Not even a group, it's Cadel Evans on the charge now. I think he's broken away from Miguel Martinez, and Martinez, I am sure, will be desperately trying to hang on to the coattails of Evans. And the crowd applauding Evans going through there, and the rest of the field coming down now, and it's Martinez hard on the heels of Evans, hard indeed, coming off there. Just a little touch too much from brake there. Difficult stuff for Martinez. Miguel's fall drops him even further behind championship rival Evans and deeper into the clutches of Evans' teammate Sousa. Behind the top 4, St Wendel winner Philip Meerhager moves into 5th, while Scots Thomas Hochstrasser finishes a fine 8th. We rejoin the race on the 4th and final lap with Evans chasing down Frischknecht. We come back with Cadel Evans on the last lap. He is now chasing Thomas Frischknecht very hard indeed. Will he be able to do what he did last year? He caught Martinez and Philip Meerhager, who were in the lead last year and went on to win. But he's now ahead of the diminutive Frenchman. And it really is significant now that the Frenchman, Miguel Martinez, hasn't got such a strong team as he had last year with Team Sun. And Jerome Ciotti in a very good 5th spot at the moment, being appreciated by the crowd. They really are quite exuberant, aren't they? And Christoph Sauser in a very lonely fourth spot. He's tried hard to hang on to the coattails of Martinez and Cadel Evans, but not able to repeat the form that he showed at Big Bear. As we see Thomas Frischknecht coming down the chute for the last time, and how quick he is. What a rider. Some would say that he is the best cross-country descender on the circuit. Used to be said about Thomas, but he's certainly very good in the mud. He was very determined before today's race. His best position before today, 5th at St Wendel, but he has been unlucky as Cadel Evans chasing hard now on the Devonian drop. He doesn't like the cold weather, he doesn't mind it wet, but he doesn't like it cold, and he's riding very well. As we look at Thomas Frischknecht coming into the start-finish area, this man is a happy man indeed. My word, what a ride. You don't see this very often. Going from the gun and staying out there. But he's had so much experience, Thomas Frischknecht. He knows how to ride even when he's feeling not very well. In fact, last week at Big Bear, he came 14th and he said he had just one speed, but he didn't have one speed here at Canmore. He was head and shoulders above everyone. And he likes swimming as well, I think. What a ride from Thomas. Keeps up his record of winning a World Cup as Cadel Evans exhaustively comes across the line in second. That's a very good ride from him. The Diesel World Cup leader coming through ahead of Miguel Martinez. Frischknecht takes his 17th World Cup win ahead of Evans, with Martinez in third. Giotti pips Meerhager for the final podium position on the last lap.
Well, it was a tough one, certainly. Very bad conditions. I was already in the front first lap, so it was really a long race for me. All the time by myself. I had to push all through the race by myself, and it was really hard to pace myself. And especially towards the end, I was fading, and Cadel came closer to me towards the end. But I figured everyone is fading towards the end and just gave everything last lap.
In the standings, Cadel extends his lead over Martinez even further. Even if the French rider wins the final round in Houffalize, Evans only has to finish 12th to take the title. Frisch's win rockets him into 6th overall, and the 3-time World Cup winner has now won World Cup rounds for 7 consecutive years. In the team standings, the Volvo Canadel Steamroller now has more points than its closest 3 rivals combined. Of the rest, Scott's new lineup breathed new life into the team. We leave the spills, thrills, wind and rain of Canmore for the downhill action of Squaw Valley, USA. My name's Mark A.Sydor, and I'll see you there.